Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Immigration Real Talk. I'm Anthony Ray here on the Ray International Channel. Welcome, everyone. I'm hoping the connection and everything works today. If it's a little slow or breaking up, just let me know, okay? In the comments so that we can see what we can do about the connection. But today we have a lot planned. There's so much going on in immigration right now. It's amazing. I had three topics that I want to cover today. But before we get to that, and as people join us, I want to make sure that, we have, talk about a few things that's happening in the news. So welcome everyone from all the Americas, good evening here on June 2nd in North, Central, and South America. Good morning to everyone in Asia. 皆さん、こんにちは。6月2日になりましたですね。日本は暑いかなと思っていますけれども、皆さんよろしくお願いいたします。移民法弁護士のアンソニー・レイです。And welcome and a very early morning to those in Africa and also Europe, as it's really, really early in the morning. Hopefully, we're catching you at a great time, as there is so much going on in the news, and there's so much to talk about. Remember, this time is for us to speak to you, to answer your questions, hear about your situation, and also to let me know some of the, victories, the success stories that we want to hear. So if you are joining us, go ahead and let me know if the video quality or the connection is smooth. Hopefully it is on your end. And we are going to get started with, before we get to our topics, today we want to talk about voluntary departure versus dismissal of the green card. The second thing we want to talk about is, what to watch for green card marriages that are based on marriage. And then finally, we have a quiz. We have naturalization questions that I picked 6 of them I want to go over, and I want to see if you guys are able to answer the questions before I give you the answer. So a little quiz, and doesn't matter whether you're a foreign national or U.S. citizen, you can take that test. We'll do that at the end, but let's get started. One of the things that I wanted to talk about that's in the news is, has anyone heard of the Child Status Protection Act, or CSPA? Go ahead and let me know. That was in the news, and there's some changes regarding that. And we want to make sure that people are aware of that. Hold on just a moment. So if you're not familiar, at the age of 21, children are no longer considered dependents for green cards for their parents. And we call that aging out. So Congress or the regulations has provided an exception in the rules if the immigrant petition has been pending for a period of time and when the actual immigrant visa becomes available. So this Child Status Protection Act was created to help, those dependents aging out. So one of the things that was required is what's called sought to acquire. Sought to acquire requirement, meaning the dependent had to seek to acquire the green card. And the whole definition of what does that mean? How do we document that? So the USCIS recently stated on its website that it is now allowing for written requests as long as it's done timely. And we're not going to get into all the details because it's a very convoluted technical area of immigration, but just wanted to let you know, if you have a child that's aging out, or reach out with an attorney, reach out to an attorney to find out whether the CSPA can help keep your child as a dependent and they can get a green card. We see this every year where the green card process is taking a very long time. That's why we want the USCIS to go ahead and process these cases quickly, don't we? And they don't. So if they process them quickly, then our dependents, children who are getting close to 21 or are about to age out, can get that green card. And it's a world of difference of whether they get that green card or not. So the CSPA is really critical. We'll definitely talk about that in one of our sessions, but I'm going to probably have to dedicate a full 30 minutes just to go over all the details because it's that technical. The next thing is for you EB-5 investors out there, it's time to open up that wallet and give the USCIS a heck of a lot of money. So we talked before or earlier, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago about the EB-5. This is for those investors or the entrepreneur investors. And one of the programs they created under the EB-5 is the regional centers. And there was a lot of problems with the regional center program and lawsuits, and the government and the courts changed a lot. And there you see it. They changed a lot. So now if someone wants to register their project or their program as the regional center, starting from today, you have to file and get registered. And it's just a mere $17,795. Of course, that's just the money. You've still got to meet all the requirements, and it's a lot of work. So you really want to have an attorney who is going to take you through that process and make sure that your regional center program is approved so that you can then invite foreign national investors into your program. But you know what? $17,795 is not all they are requiring. The USCIS wants a little bit more money. Now, not that they want more money. It's really that they want to, check on these programs annually. The problem is that they would get approved and there was no oversight. So what Congress tried to do and what the courts are trying to do is provide some oversight in the EB-5 regional center program. And how are they going to do that? You got it. More money. So get ready to open up your wallets. Again, regional center program providers to $3,335 per year that you have to provide additional information. And what I found interesting about this is, and I'm going to share this with you. Let me see if I can pull this up. Half of these forms, it's all about certification. They're just having people sign. Basically, literally half of the 14 pages. I'm going to share this. Hold on. Yep, 14 pages. Let me put it on the screen here. Half of the pages is just signatures. The main person, responsible person, the interpreter, the attorney, and then the person certifying that. Let me get this on the screen for you guys so you guys can see this, because here we go. Let me see. Got it. Excellent. Technology at its best. So as you can see on the screen, I'm going to make it I got it really big, don't I? Let's make it a little bit more. There we go. So, it's 14 pages, but, by the time you get from page 3, this is all signatures. There's no information here. It's certify, the attorney, the interpreter, all this information. There's a little information there, but it's all declaration, certification. The USCIS is really trying to hold all people accountable. So if you are the main investor or organizer of the regional center, if you are the attorney, if you are the interpreter, and if you are the accountant or anyone certifying all the financial records, they want to hold anybody and all people responsible. So, $3,035. Yeah, it sounds a lot, but remember, what are these people investing? How much are they investing? Each investor, if you're doing it by yourself, and we'll talk, there's additional forms that are going to be coming up for that. Here, like for a standalone investor, if you're just doing it on your own, you're not going through a regional center, you got to invest anywhere from $1.8 million. So I guess if you got $1.8 million set aside for an investment, 3,000 isn't that bad, but still, do you really want to have to pay that each year? Now, for regional centers and people in certain areas, not in major cities or major populations, you can pay 900,000. So you get a break. They cut that in half for you. So 900,000. The new forms that are coming soon, for which we haven't seen yet, is the Form I-526. That's the immigrant petition by standalone investors, and also coming out is going to be the Form I-526E for immigrant petitions by regional center investors. So we're going to see those come out real soon. They got that ready. We're going to see what price tag they slap on those. And all I can say, guys, is just open your wallets, because if you're going to be an investor and you want to get your green card through either the regional center, which we do have some clients that are eager to go through that process, there's going to be a lot of oversight, okay? So you're going to want to make sure that the regional center program is legit. They're doing what they're supposed to, because you don't want to invest your $900,000 and not have it be successful, or have the program midstream not do their due diligence or file their annual statements, and it gets, you're going to lose out. So there's a lot of accountability, getting tongue twisted this evening, that they're trying to put in place. So last topic, so then we can jump into, I told you there's a lot going on right now. I wanted to touch on the news article that is out there. A recent one is undocumented high school graduates. And this one's a really interesting one, I thought, would be, so on, this is through the Boundless. I haven't really, visited this, but the topic is interesting. And so for a lot of undocumented young high school graduates, they no longer require or are eligible for DACA, and DACA is not available. And this is a huge thing, because these are really educated, talented people that we really need in the employment sector and the job sector right now. But we can't get them in there, because they don't get the protection that other DACA holders have, such as, getting a quasi status, getting their Social Security number, and getting their driver's license, and being very productive and supportive to our society. What do you guys think? Do you think, we should open up DACA again for a lot more undocumented young people who meet certain requirements? We tried to expand it a little bit. That didn't work. It was, people objected to that. There was lawsuits against that. What do you think Congress should do about this? Why don't you, let me know in the comments. It's a huge problem. You have, really talented, kids, entrepreneurs, people who really want to add and benefit and support the economy, but we're not giving them the tools to do that. And, the sad thing is, we as U.S. citizens and U.S. employers are unable to tap that resource and utilize the benefits that these young people can bring to our economy and help it grow. People just want to work. There's always the, exceptions of one or two bad actors, who end up being undocumented or illegal aliens. But, for the most part, we're talking 99% of the people who are here are really good people, and they just want to work, pay taxes, take care of their family, and, pay for high prices of the inflation of our grocery and gas bills. Someone's got to pay for all this stuff. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Put your comments in the chat below. We're going to jump into our topic today. The first one is, let me get, take this off. So how are you guys doing out there today? Let me know where you are, where you're from. Give me a shout out. Let me know if you have questions, success stories, if you know of people who have just recently been naturalized. Oh, one other thing about naturalization. We were at the USCIS Center, and two things. One, they're starting to ask people to wear masks. So if you have a mask that you want to wear, take it with you. Otherwise, you're going to get one. And they're pretty good. They give you really good qualities N95s. And secondly, be careful if you plan on going to a swearing or oath ceremony for a family member or a friend. We have seen them limit the number of people who are able to go into that oath ceremony. It may be a +1. But you have to be careful. You might want to call ahead to make sure, you bring 10, 20 people and only one person can get in or no people can get in. So because of all these protocols that are being put in place, that's something I noticed. So just be mindful of that, guys. All right, let's get down to business. Let me see. The first topic that I wanted to talk about and mention to you guys is voluntary departure. Now, if you're not familiar with voluntary departure, basically when you're in removal proceedings or deportation proceedings, right now the government is dismissing a lot of cases, non-priority cases. So if you do not have a criminal background, they're willing to dismiss your case. For some people, that's great. For other people, that's not so good. So you do have an option. You could take voluntary departure. Remember, if your case is dismissed, what status do you have? You don't. You start accruing unlawful presence again. So if you went into removal proceedings and you do not, if you have not accumulated any unlawful presence in the United States, then you probably don't want a dismissal because you're just left. You're going to start accumulating unlawful presence, and that's going to work against you. Now, if you're not familiar, if you're here illegally for 6 months but less than 12 months, then you could be barred from the United States for up to 3 years. And how many years for those people who are here illegally for more than 1 year? Anyone? Give me your answer in the comments below. Let's see if people are paying attention out there. No comments? No thoughts? Okay, 3 years. What do you guys think? 5, 7, more? No comments. Well, the answer, no answers, or maybe just, we don't know. So the answer is 10 years. So if you've been here illegally for more than 1 year, for more than 12 months, you could be barred for up to 10 years. Now, in reality, if there's any immigration violation, CBP or the U.S. consulate, they're going to be looking to penalize you in some form. So we've seen penalties such as a 3-year bar, 5-year bar. Some people who missed a day are still penalized. It really just depends on the mood of the consular officer or the CBP officer at that time. And we've seen some people be forgiven. There is some discretion allotted to CBP and consular officers. So be mindful of that. But voluntary or remove or dismissal, it's really going to depend on your immigration history, your background. If you entered the United States legally and you've done everything right, then, voluntary departure may work to your advantage, okay, when you want to try to re-enter the United States. For others who do not have that benefit, or maybe they've already accumulated more than 1 year of unlawful presence, then absolutely you're going to want to take that dismissal. And unfortunately, there's no avenue right now for that. Good evening, Cinnamon Rolls every day. Glad you could join us. Welcome. Right now, we're talking about the benefits between voluntary departure or dismissal of your removal case. So it really depends. So when you sit down and speak with your attorney, talk to them. Don't just take that dismissal and think that everything is fine. Now, they can put you right back into removal proceedings once the administration changes. The next president could come in and say, hey, everyone we just dismissed, you're right back into immigration court, and the numbers in our immigration court proceedings is just going to continue to go up and up and up. But we'll see what the next president decides to do. Hopefully, Congress will get their act together and solve this problem, come up with a solution, because the status quo is not working, guys. Next, the next thing I wanted to talk about is people getting married, green card cases based on marriage, what you should watch out for. Guys, as I mentioned yesterday, one of the things you want to watch out is make sure you guys combine your assets. If you're the couple that likes to keep everything separate, he's got his and she's got hers, or whatever it may be, that's not good in immigration. I always tell people the USCIS is thinking about, their thought process is the 1950s, okay? Think Leave It to Beaver for those out there who knows what Leave It to Beaver is. If you don't, you're a lot younger than me, but that was a good show. Wasn't my favorite at that time, but they're thinking about more traditional, combining. I had one officer said, well, why don't you have your spouse on the lease or the deed? It's a lot of work. It costs money. You may even need to hire an attorney to add your spouse properly onto a deed if you're not familiar with the process. So even though the USCIS doesn't take into account the cost or the inability to do that, you've got to be prepared. Get your spouse or your partner on whatever it may be. The titles to the car, well, they got their car and she's got her car. I don't care. Get each other on each other's title of the vehicle. If you have problems with that, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be together, but that's the way the USCIS is going to look at it. If you've got everything 100% divided and there's nothing mingled or mixed together, you're going to look very skeptical to the USCIS officer, guys. And that's what the officer mentioned this week. He encouraged my clients to make sure they, over the next 2 years, because their marriage was less than 2 years, they got a conditional green card, encouraged them to work at combining their assets, or, making sure their names are on both of those documents. So keep that in mind, guys, as we do that. Hold on just a second. So that's one thing. The next thing to remember is preparation. And I mentioned before, the way you put your documents together to present and reviewing your documents, know your documents. And I said organization like a gazillion times yesterday and the day before, but it's so crucial. So many people don't take the time to prepare. That's why we spend an hour with our clients preparing them. And we've got some who are engineers and they love preparing. We've got others who are totally disorganized. And, the thought of organization is like, taking cod liver oil or something like that. So whatever it is, be prepared, know your documents, be able, and my rule for my clients is you have 5 seconds to give them the documents. No questions, no explanations. You don't need to explain. They do this. They've been doing this for years. They know what they're looking for. So, if you have a family registry because you're from, Korea, Japan, or China, you don't need to explain that. Just give them the document with the translation and they know what to expect. They know what they're looking for. They're pretty smart. And a lot of the people, if you didn't know, is they're from the Foreign Service. When all the counselors, U.S. embassies and consulates, they fired a lot of people. And where did they transition to? They want to stay in the government. A lot of them transitioned to the USCIS. So often, you'll see a lot of the, prior, Foreign Service individuals who are very knowledgeable about many countries, about your country. they're going to be very knowledgeable and they're going to already know ahead of time. So there's a lot of smart people out there in our government. I just wish everything it would come off in practice and how they provide their service. They need to put more of those smart people on the top, and other people with a different agenda, set them aside so that we can move forward in providing an excellent immigration experience for everyone from the government side. Now, the last thing I know I'm running out of time. We're going to get to our naturalization questions, guys. And I put this together. So I'm going to put the question on the bottom for you guys to read it. And I'm going to see who can answer it before I give you the answer. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds. So our first, I chose 6 of them. There's 100. If you don't know, there's 100. Go ahead and put your answers in the comment section if you know the answer. And if you don't know, there's 100 questions, and there's a certain exception we'll talk about in the middle of this. Anybody know the answer? There is no one who knows. Can you believe that? All these people watching and they do not know the answer. What is the supreme law of the land? Anybody? Feel like Ferris Bueller, and everyone has checked out. Okay, well, the answer to this is, of course, the Constitution. And as you may have seen in the news, that's what's causing all the issues regarding Roe v. Wade and what the Supreme Court's going to do. But the Constitution is that. Okay, you guys are really slow on that one, so we're going to try the next one, okay? Next question. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? Anybody? What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? Anybody? Just one. Okay, guys. No answers. All right. So you have a choice. It could have been freedom of freedom of speech, religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press. We got those news people. They want to, they're everywhere. And then petition the government. You have the freedom to petition the government. That's one of the nice things about the U.S. We have these freedoms, and to a large extent, they are protected by the law, and our courts hold it up so that, you do have freedom of speech, religion, assembly, press, and petition to the government. So, all right, no answers. Come on, guys. You guys, remember, to pass the test, you guys, you need 6 out of 10. And we're just doing 6. So if you get the first 6 right, you're done. You passed the civics test. But right now, I don't see any answers. So let's go to our next one right here. Okay. How many amendments does the Constitution have? Any takers? Any answers? Anybody out there? How many amendments does the Constitution have? Silence in the audience. Crickets. All right, guys. The answer to this is 27. Okay. How many people knew that out there? If you don't want to give the answer, just say, I knew it. Yay, I knew that. All right. Before we get to the next one, well, actually, let's do this one. The next one. What is the capital of your state? Okay. Anybody? Go ahead, put the capital of your state if you know the capital of your state. For us, we have multiple offices, but one of our offices is located in Michigan, and in Michigan, the capital is Lansing. So for this, if you're in the state of Michigan, Lansing would be that. How about the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C.? What would you put for your answer for that? Well, it's just going to be DC because DC does not have a capital, okay? And it's not even considered a state. And there's a whole lot of issues regarding voting and all those issues that is also another constitutional issue. So if you notice on this question, there's a little asterisk there. And a very interesting thing is for those individuals who meet certain requirements, if they're over 65, and we have a client in this category, if they're over 65 and they've been a lawful permanent resident for more than 20 years, they don't need to learn all 100 questions. They only need to study the ones that are with an asterisk. So that's a huge bonus. So if you are a longtime permanent resident or green card holder here, and you are a little on the mature side, meaning 65 or older, then you get a break when it comes to these questions. So look for the ones that are starred or there's an asterisk, and those are the ones you need to answer. All right, final question, and hopefully I get some takers. Let's see, can you guys answer this question? When must all men register for the Selective Service? Right now, only men need to register for Selective Service, not women. There was a lot of debate, especially on the equality. They were trying to see if women could also be required to register. A lot more women are getting involved in combat here in the U.S. I don't know about your country. In your country, I know that women are involved in the military, but are they allowed to be involved in combat? Let me know in the chat below from your country. Let me know what country, and are women allowed to be involved in combat? Here in the United States, all men must register for Selective Service. When? Anybody? All right. All right. Nobody has the answers. I guess no one is trying to be a U.S. citizen today. If you are, you really need to study a lot more. So the answer is 18. Young men can register for Selective Service between the ages of 18 and 26. So anyone who's a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, you must register. Or if you become a green card holder, so we were talking earlier about people who register, children who are turning 21 and when they get their green cards. So those individuals, when they get their green cards, if they haven't already registered for Selective Service, they need to do that. And why is that important? Because in the naturalization process, they're going to ask. And if you haven't done it, you're going to have to give a reason why you didn't, or you may not be approved for your citizenship. So all these minor small things, you're going to want to have an attorney involved and working with you. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy our time. I really want to hear more questions, success stories, and comments from you guys out there. Let me know what's going on or things you've heard about. Maybe you are unclear about something. Let me know what you have an interest in. We're here for you guys. We're not here just to talk, but we really want to interact and find out what's going on and how immigration is impacting you. Now, remember, we are trying to hit our 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, so visit that. We have a lot of new content coming out. So look for that. Go ahead, subscribe, click that bell so that you're notified when new events just like this event comes out. You'll be notified and say, hey, if you have time, join us and we can, discuss these things with you. Everyone, I want to thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe and we will see you next time.